So this is my full review of the Huawei MediaPad Honor X1. So the Honor X1 is a phablet type device, more along the lines of a real crossover type tablet slash phone. It's a compact tablet that can make phone calls. That's essentially what it is. And it's very unique in its own. So before I get into the full review, let's go over the body. This is the 7-inch full HD display. It sits at 1200 by 1920, which is just freaking amazing. You've got a 5 megapixel front camera there. Sorry if you saw some glare there, guys. You've got a 5 megapixel camera there on the front, which takes great pictures, proximity sensor, and the speaker for talking there. On the back, you've got a 13 megapixel camera with single LED flash, and your speaker grill is down here for the loudspeaker and music and content and things like that. Here is your SD card slot, volume rocker, power button, and SIM card tray down there. On the bottom, you've got your charging port and sync cable, and this also does reverse charging. And you've got your microphone for talking there. On the top, you've got another microphone for noise cancellation and headphone jack. You got this nice build quality plastic along here and here for the antennas, and it has great antennas on it. So it's actually only 7.18 millimeters thick, weighs 239 grams. The overall footprint, let me grab another phone. This is going to blow your mind. Here it is next to the Lumia 635. You can see it's much thicker than the 635. But this is to give you an idea of how the size is compared to an average size smartphone. This has a 4.5-inch display, and this has a 7-inch full HD display. So right now I'm running Nova Launcher, and I'm sorry that I don't have the default launcher on here. I could turn it on, but the default launcher, it's nothing unique about the default launcher. It's why I keep Nova Launcher on here, and I'm running the Icon Packed, which is Moonshine. Shout out to my homeboy on Google Plus, who always takes care of me keeping me on the know. I need to shout him out, like, for real right now, because we talk on there. Vargas, that's his name. Try to think of his name. Shout out to I believe his name is Jose Vargas. He's definitely a Huawei supporter, and I follow him on Google Plus. If you don't follow him on Google Plus, he can keep you tipped off on tons. Jorge Vargas. There you go. I got that right that time. Jorge Vargas. Follow him on Google Plus. If you don't, because he's definitely in the know for Nova Launcher. He gave me the idea for the Icon Pack with Nova Launcher, and we chatted a lot when I had my Huawei Ascend 4G LTE. He's rocking that right now, and he's considering picking one of these up. Jorge, if you're thinking about doing it, you need to go ahead and do it, man. It's great. So anyway, let's get to this full review. I'm actually going to go in order this time, and you can actually see my full review is posted online under Engadget. And I'm going to go in order here. So I'm going to start with call quality, because some people laughed. I posted a picture on Google Plus with this next to my face, which I don't do. I've already explained that I don't do that. I use it with the Bluetooth headset, and that is the way I think most people should use this, because you might get tired of holding this to your head after a while, and you might get tired of people looking at you do that. So nonetheless, your choice. I choose to use a Bluetooth headset, but for demo purposes, I actually made calls with this around the house without a Bluetooth headset, and they were fantastic. Crystal clear. It's a 3G device / 4G, so the signal is going to be extremely good. So signal on here, reception, call quality, perfect over T-Mobile's network. Really nice. So next is the display. This is a 7-inch display, and I believe it's IPS. Let me double check. Yep, IPS LCD capacitive display. And it's again, it's 1200 by 1920. And for the techies, that's 322 pixels per inch. Doesn't mean much to me. I just know that it's a sharp display. Like most people checking out devices, a really good display. And it's great for watching movies. Outdoor visibility on this, they have some kind of enhanced outdoor visibility thing. Let me see if I can find it. It's always like this when I want to show you guys something, I won't be able to find it. Um, uh-oh. You know, I won't even waste time in this review trying to find it, but it's a setting in here for outdoor visibility, and it really helps. It makes the screen extra sharp when you're outside and the sunlight hits it. I mean, it is ridiculous. You can read with this in direct sunlight, and that's a huge plus because the screen is great for reading books or just reading websites or whatever the case may be. So then, and the screen again, full HD, 1200 by 1920. Some people say, well, it's not technically 1080p. Well, what is it then? It was 1200 by 1820. Anyway, screen is great. Battery life. Battery life on here, you should be able to get with with light use, you could probably get a full 5 days. But with moderate use, you know, a few emails, a little bit of web browsing, a couple of games, lots of phone calls, you should be able to get about 2 to 3 days out of this battery because it's a 5,000 milliamp battery. That is fantastic. It doesn't get any better than that. 5,000 on a phone, this slim slash tablet hybrid is just amazing. But with heavy use, you'll get at least a day and a half. I was able to muster up over 10 hours of battery life out of a single charge, and that is just unheard of. It's just unbelievable. Let's go to battery right now, see where I'm at. So I'm at 55%, going on 20 hours, and 6.5 hours of screen on time. So you do the math. There's no reason you should run out of battery on this in a day. You've got to really be keeping something on the loop if you're doing that, if you're running low on battery. The cameras, I compare the cameras to other cameras in the house, and other camera phones, I should say. And you know, the camera it doesn't get a 10. It's a 13 megapixel camera. It's got a Sony lens in there, but the reality is some of the pictures were, after comparing it to other pictures, some of the pictures were a little fuzzy. I compared it next to my iPhone 5S and my LG G Flex and just several other phones, and it was a little grainy, a little fuzzy, especially after they were cropped. You know, the camera still, it's not a 10, but you know, it's like an 8 for the camera. It's pretty good. It's okay. As far as usability of the device, you know, it's Android, so enough said. Android is one of the easiest operating systems you could possibly use. It's got everything you want in here. There's just nothing, you know, you can hit the App Store, get a game, get a launcher. It's really nice. So, what can I say? Android, it's good to go. The operating system is damn near perfect. Not perfect, but close. The design and form factor of the device, I think this would have been a perfect 10 in this. I'm giving it a 9.9 for the form factor because it's like a giant Galaxy Note. Is what my son said. It's like a giant Galaxy Note, you know, because he has a white Galaxy Note too. But he had the white Galaxy Note too. He upgraded to the G Flex, but this does look like a giant Galaxy Note. Now that he said that to me, and I think that's pretty amazing. But that's a good thing. That's not. It's like a cross between a Galaxy Note and an iPhone 5S. They had a kid, and the kid was a little chubby and tall. The design and form factor, it's great. This would be perfect if it was a 7-inch form factor that was a little bit more narrow. But you just can't get any more narrow than this. It's 80% screen ratio. So what more do you want in a 7-inch phablet? Perfect. Just it's going to be a little wide for some people. Other than that, you can't go wrong. It's great. Now we get on to speaking of other people and the size and the form factor. Here's where I'm going to be realistic and not give this a 10, even though I think it's okay. You know, and a lot of people might think this is okay, but I'm an end user. I'm always going to look through the end user's eyes, and I can tell you that most people won't like this 7-inch form factor. And they're going to say it's too big. Some people say that 5 inches is too big. Well, again, it's all, some end users want larger device, and we all know that the economy is going towards larger devices. It's no secret now. Everyone is going towards larger devices, and that's just a given. Um, so as far as pocketability and size and weight, it is a little on the heavier side for most users. It's 239 grams, and it's a 7-inch screen, but it's so thin that it's really easy to handle. It's easy to handle since it's so thin. But hey, it doesn't get a 10 in that category, but still, it's good enough to where you can, for women, they can throw it in their purse, and a guy can throw it in his back pocket. Media support, definitely Netflix all day. Netflix, YouTube, any kind of streaming form type of media content is just, or just any kind of video on here is just damn near perfect. It is unbelievable how nice this screen is. It's an HD screen, 1080p HD screen. So looking at media content on it is going to be fantastic, as you can imagine. So media content and media support, like most Android devices, you can just put whatever on your SD card or put whatever on the phone, and it'll play it right out of the box. This played every form factor, or every type of media that I put on here and threw at it. It played it right away, and that's about where we're at with that. It's not one that's going to fail in the media content support area. This can play anything, and I think it'll work. So on to me dropping this. I've actually dropped this device. I dropped it. Man, I thought it was going to crack, but it only dropped about 3 feet. I'll say maybe 3.5, 4 feet. Dropped it about 4 feet, and it fell, and it hit against a wall and banged up against an end table. And I picked it up, and I was like, oh my goodness. But there was not a mark on it. It's perfectly fine. It hit the corners, and it hit up against the back, and the front kind of laid on there. But amazingly enough, not a mark on it. So on to the big thing that I did. I actually had this on my one of my desks, and I had a cup of water. And the cup of water was the phone was here, and the cup of water was here, and I was reaching for the cup of water and forgot that the phone was there, and boom, there's about that much water in there, about halfway, and it spilled all over the phone. So immediately I grabbed it and I wiped it off and just dabbed it and made sure it was dry. Didn't power it off, didn't do anything. I let it sit for a little bit, and no problems. It works perfectly fine. Nothing went wrong with it. So I've actually dropped this phone, and I've actually spilled water all over it, and it's still ticking. Everything's still good. As for the system itself, I know I spoke about Android for the easiness of how easy it is to use, but I think ease of use is going to be more along the lines of, can I hold it a certain way? This is a two-hand device, hands down. I mean, even me with one hand, I'm holding it, I'm using it. This is a two-hand device. But as far as the ecosystem, Android is great. I've actually updated this to 4.2.2. If you haven't seen my video on that, you need to go check it out, because it is available. So it's funny how they have the H here instead of the K, but nonetheless, it still works. So that's 4.4.2 installed on there. Now, one disclaimer that I do have is that after updating to, now this is up to you. You can update to 4.4.2, and then you'll have the fastest, latest, and the phone performs differently. It actually performs a lot better. It does very well. Or you can leave it on 4.2.2, and here's what you get. So after updating to 4.4.2, from 4.2.2, the DPI on the device goes from 320 to 400, which in turn makes some applications they're not available in the market. One in particular is Google+. Now, for me, this isn't a big deal. For some, they might say, "Oh my God, I can't do it. I don't like that." It's just kind of you kind of gotta pick your battles. This will be fixed when Huawei updates the software again. When they do that, I have no clue. So please, don't ask me when are they going to update it. And all I'm doing is I'm just using the web apps for things that don't work and that are not compatible, I should say. And the only one I found really was Google Plus. As you can see here, though, I can still write on things, post photos, check in, whatever, check all my notifications. It's just like the application. So in essence, you're saving some space on your phone, and you still get all the perks of having being able to use Google Plus. So that was probably the only disclaimer that I could tell you, is that some applications, from what I've experienced, are not available in the market. You'll go to them and it says your device is not compatible. We've all seen that before, but I think that it's only because the DPI changed and all the forums. I've kind of found that too. So how do I rate this device after such a different review that I've given? I give this device a 9 out of 10, and only because of the size of the device. This is really pushing it. This is really a phablet, but it's so compact, it feels great, and you can actually use it as a phone. Just the camera and, again, the size is where it failed at. Not failed, but just didn't do as good as other devices that I own. So, the camera, I compared it to my iPhone 5S and the G Flex, and it just wasn't as sharp. It wasn't as sharp, it wasn't as crisp as it could possibly be. But at the same time, it gets the job done. So it's not that it fails in that department. It's just not as clear, as sharp as you would think it would be. But hey, this is a phone. If you want a high-powered camera, you know what I always say. So one other thing I wanted to demo to you is reverse charging. Now, I actually found out how to do this without buying the Huawei cable. So I took this device, or this cable here, which I've used to use this as a computer, which you can do. Check that video out if you haven't. And then I just grabbed another stubby USB, and also works with the long USBs, and I plugged it in, and then I plugged this into the device. So let's demo this right here on camera for you, and you're going to watch this phone, because this phone can charge other devices. This is an old device, but it still works. It's the My Touch. You're going to watch this device start charging. There it is. So if you want to take the affordable route and not spend the $10 plus $6 for shipping for the reverse charging cable, just get one of these for $1 and then plug in any USB you can, and it'll take care of it. So there it is, folks. This is a fantastic device with lots and lots and lots of things to offer the average user. I've been using this as my daily for, I don't know, since I got it. And I'm happy to say that giving this device a 9 out of 10 is really good when you look at the things that I kind of voted it not so great for. The camera, no cell phone has a perfect camera. And then the size, which was obvious. I couldn't rate it as a 10 because of the size. This is really pushing it for an end user. But there are going to be some end users who want it, and I would tell them to get it. So a 9 out of 10 for this is fantastic. This, and even in the areas where the camera and the body and the size and everything, where I didn't give it the highest rating, it still is not bad. The camera is good, it's just not great. The size, though, is kind of, the average user can't handle that. So with that being said, 9 out of 10, that's a great device. I definitely recommend this. So go ahead and hit that link in the description. It'll take you right to purchasing this device. It's only $319, believe it or not. If you look on eBay and places like that, it's $350 and above. So with shipping, it's like $380, almost $400. Some places even have it for $800. So hit the link in the description, and you'll be able to purchase this device, because it'll take you right to Huawei, where I got it from. And then you'll have it shipped to you. You can get it shipped for free, or you can choose express shipping, whichever you choose. End result is the device is $319, and you just can't beat that for a device of this caliber. Glad I got it in my catalog once again. This is Jay Will with a full review of the Huawei MediaPad X1. I will see you guys in the next one. Oh, that kind of rhymes a little. No, I'm not a rapper. See you guys. Take care. Hey, you know what? Don't forget to like the video, share it. Share it most importantly with me. Share it. Leave a comment. I like when people comment, and because I always interact. Follow me on Twitter also, Mr. J.O. Williams, obviously. And we'll see you guys. I'll have another device to review soon, hopefully. Take care.